It's TFT Tuesday, so we gotta go over the TFT patch notes for patch 15.6. Pretty important patch because it is a little bit late into the set, but they are making a ton of changes still. Normally they don't change this much, but we got buffs to Rammus, Smolder, Gangplank, Ahri, Udyr, Ashe, Ryze, Lee Sin, Seraphine, Twisted Fate, Yone, Zyra, and also the item Quicksilver, along with 7 other items and 6 augments. They're reworking Monster Trainer again, and then they're also, I guess, adding back I'll Be the Head. Also, 2x KO power-ups. I tried that game. It actually is pretty fun, but there's a reason why I play TFT. It's because I can't play action games. I play turn-based games, so that's why I'm here. Nerfing Crystal Gambit, Soul Fighter, Star Guardian, Dawn Core, Radiant Nashers, and 5 augments, and then adjusting Mighty Mech, Yasuo, Akali, Blighting Jewel, and Fishbones. Let's see how that actually shapes up. We'll cover all these changes and also my take on how it will change everything in the game. So they're adding streamer mode. Interesting. So hide other names. This will hide other players' game names on your screen only. Your identity will still be visible to others in game. This actually might be useful because you won't play differently based on what other people's names are. Maybe there's some unconscious bias that you use or something like that. Hide my name, I'm guessing that hides your name, and then hide everything, I'm guessing that hides everything. Probably doesn't do much for 99.99% of players, but you know, always gotta help out the top 0.001%. Alright, let's go into large changes. New power-ups, you've heard of double up, but have you heard of the new double down? Okay, let's see what that is. 2x Contender, Vi, Ahri, Darius, Yasuo, Jinx, Braum, and Echo, and this power-up allows you to gain 4% damage amp, 2% durability for each unique copy fielded. So this unit will gain 75% more, and then champions secondary are Vi, Ahri, Darius, Yasuo, Jinx, Braum, and Echo. I mean, the same ones we saw here, right? So I guess you can make new comps out of this, like the 2x comps. That'd be pretty cool. I'll be cooking up some comps on bunnymuffins.lol/meta, probably Thursday night, with the video coming out on Friday morning. But I'm guessing this is very similar to the comps that are like fan service and things like that, where it kind of creates a new trait once you get the power up. 2x KO after 2 takedowns, stun enemies within 2 hexes for 2 seconds, and gain damage amp for the rest of combat. Champions with this as a primary are Nefiri, Jace, Darius, Volibear, Braum. So this is one of those melee carry ones. Seems a little tricky to use. Obviously, once it happens, it's very good because like 35% damage amp is a lot for a power-up. But you need to kill 2 units. After 2 units are dead, and it's like a takedown, right? It can't be any unit. A lot of the fight's done already, but I guess you could do a lot of positioning, like position your person on the weak side and kill their 1-star tanks or their no item tanks. That could be a strategy to kind of use this. Attempt number 37, Echo's spell prioritizes the closest enemy, but he heals 20% max health on cast and deals 6% more magic damage each time his spell hits the target. This one can only be on Echo, so you need the Isekai augment to get that. I guess Isekai works especially well for this comp then, but it is cool that he's getting some of his unique stuff. Carry corner or corner carry, gain 30% attack speed at 75% and 25% health, dash to the safest position, and gain infinite range. Champions are included Ashe, Kai'Sa, Xayah, and Jinx. This is anti-Akali Tech 101 because it's like built-in Edge of Night, right? Once you get hit a bunch, you just move. Wait, no, Akali will still hit you because she marks you. Holy cow. But any other assassin that jumps to the back line and hits you, you'll jump to safety, right? Unfortunately, Akali will still hit you unless they change her, because I did see her in the changes section, so I'm guessing they are going to do something that makes this a counter to that still. Denting blows, Vi's spell now shields instead of heals, but is increased by 25%. When this occurs, Vi quickly strikes 4 times, each hit reducing the target's resist by 5. And this is only for Vi, so it's good for maybe like a reroll comp where you're using her as a tank. It's got an okay supportish thing where it reduces resistances. On paper, it doesn't sound that great, but maybe I am wrong. Double down, gain 18% damage amp. When this unit casts, your other powered up units gain 20% of the mana spent. Champion primaries are going to be Ezreal, Janna, and Ahri. So this is a very good secondary or like a support type of power-up. So for example, if you want to do it on Ahri in a Star Guardian comp, you could use this on her, itemize her, but then also buff up your Jinx, who is going to gain 20% of the mana spent. That'd be pretty cool, right? Or maybe like a Ezreal Yuumi comp. Not saying it's good, but it does sound interesting. Fury Break, gain 25% attack speed when your other powered up units die. Gain a burst of 300% attack speed that decays over 4 seconds. If you die first, give them the burst instead. Champions are Gnar, Kayle, Xayah, Kog'Maw, Jinx, Ashe, Ziggs, Zyra, and Twisted Fate. So this is just a on condition attack speed buff. Noxious Trap, damage you deal burns, wounds, and 20% shred and sunders enemies for 4 seconds. Malzahar, Senna, Janna, and Twisted Fate. This is pretty cool. Yeah, like it gives you all those secondary effects. This actually sounds pretty decent, but I wonder when you would want this over Skypiercer and vice versa. I guess it just depends on which champion you're using. Quick Tag, on death, spawn a unit of the same role with the same number of items. This unit is 1 cost lower and has 15% reduced health. These include Yasuo, Darius, and Braum. This could be kind of cool. I'm guessing you just get a bunch of fighters, right? Or like attack fighters. Doesn't sound that great. Like, we'd have to compare it to the training dummy one where you die and get a dummy, but that's for tanks. This is more for attack fighters. And obviously, like a random unit with 15% reduced health can use items a lot better than the random training dummy, right? But feels a little weird because normally you'd put damage items on them, and I don't know if this random unit can kind of carry. Rocket Grab, at the start of combat, gain a 20% health shield for 4 seconds. When your target dies, pull the next target into melee range and regain the shield. This includes Kennen, Rakan, Nico, Cassante, and then secondary is going to be Darius. This just means how often it shows up for that champion. But pulling seems kind of fun. Snacks Time, Braum's cast also throws 5 poros at random enemies. Each deals 200% of Braum's base attack as physical damage. You know what would be really cool if they combine this with his poro mechanic, like you throw as many poros as you stored up or something like that. Maybe it'd be too OP because maybe he stacks up too many, right? But I think that'd be kind of fun. Stalking Dart, every 10 mana, Ari fires a Foxfire Dart towards her target, dealing 5% of her spell's damage as magic damage. Obviously only Ari. Super Mega, Jinx gains 20% attack damage. Every third cast is twice as big and splits 50% more damage among enemies hit. Tentacle Smash, after 4 seconds, stun enemies within 3 hexes for 1 second. Repeat every 9 seconds. And this is going to be Viset, Poppy, Zac, Mundo, and Aatrox. So this is an alternative to, let's say, Tankzilla and Unstoppable. I think Tankzilla might be a little bit more valuable. Like, this does stun more often, but I feel like Tankzilla, the 20% health buff is very, very nice to get in addition to the stun. Windwall, Yasuo gains 60% crit chance and takes 15% reduced damage from non-adjacent enemies. And obviously that is just going to be Yasuo. This sounds pretty good though, like, wow. Very good against range carries, but I guess if you are for Mentor, he does jump around a bit, so I'm not sure how that kind of affects that, because sometimes you do attack the range champion, but 60% crit chance, that's very good. This is definitely going to be great for Yasuo carries or Yasuo reroll comps. You just need IE, and then you don't need anything else after that. Maybe you want to build like Deathblade with this, who knows, just to kill stuff faster. Artifact Anvil encounter is disabled, so they hate anvils, so they hate artifacts. I mean, I do too. I don't mind that at all. I think artifacts were just too strong in this set. But Crystal Gambit stage 4 multiplier is going to be dropped down a bit. 7-piece reward multiplier going to be nerfed as well. Mighty Mech 5 mech mana is going to be decreased, and the 7 mech third cast damage is going to be decreased. So they're making 5 mech a bit better, 7 mech a bit worse. Let's see if they say anything on this. 7 mech is great, but getting there feels like a requirement. Yeah, that's true. Like, the difference between 5 and 7 mech is astronomical. I mentioned this multiple times in my tier list every Friday, and having to hit Yone makes it rather risky, yeah. So we're lowering the gap, and okay, so it's less feast or famine when playing mech. Monster Trainer no longer has unique bag rules. All Monster Trainer champions will now count as 1 unit. Bag size for Lulu is going to be increased from 18 to 22. So for the 3 costs, there will now be 22. So I guess contesting 2 players going Monster Trainer can still be a thing, even though it's still probably very difficult. And they kind of explain here how, like, it's going to work even if you have different ones. You can't get Lulu from the shop once all of them are taken, no matter what copy they choose. Now for Soul Fighter, bonus health is going to be nerfed a little bit at 6 and 8 Soul Fighter. Makes sense. It was a decent comp. Star Guardian Xayah bonus gonna get nerfed. She was by far the best Star Guardian bonus. And then Jinx attack speed nerfed by 5% as well. Definitely did get a lot of attack speed. That's why like the tiny team stuff was so good. It was mainly because you just abused these 2 Star Guardian bonuses. 2 cost units, Gangplank gonna be buffed up a bit, both in terms of attack and resistances. Hopefully he's back. I miss Gangplank because he was either the best unit in the game this set or the worst unit in the game. I'm hoping he's just playable, you know, like he hasn't really been playable. I mean, you play him in Mighty Mech, but like you don't care about him, right? 3 cost units, Ari overkill damage gonna be buffed. Wait, really? We're temporarily removing Luden's Tempest this set. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Yeah, it pretty much is only good on Ari. It was also good on Jin too, right? But yeah, it was super OP on Ari. So yeah, they're making the overkill a bit better, but obviously removing our best item. So that should be a bit more consistent then, because you don't have to be like, oh, I can only do this with the artifact. So that should be cool. Maybe this with the mana thing I talked about before could be kind of cool in a Star Guardian comp. Rammus health gonna be buffed, mana buff, Smolder buffs as well. Udyr, tiny buff, and then Yasuo base spell is less likely to hit backline when other units are nearby. Okay, sure. 4-cost units, Akali, let's see what happens. So they're just changing the dash damage? Wait, I thought she was in the rework section, right? Am I crazy in thinking that? It says adjusted down here. But when I look at the 4-cost unit, that's all there is. So with optimal itemization, Akali is ever so slightly over the line we're comfortable with for a champion that scales so well with player skill. We don't expect this nerf to take her out of elite play, but alongside a Radiant Nashor's Tooth nerf, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that sounds more like just a nerf, right? Rather than, I mean, I guess it's technically an adjustment because they're nerfing her 1 and 2 star but buffing 3 star. Okay, so it's just a nerf, which is fair, right? Like, Akali was different, but I thought when they had her in the adjusted section, it was like, oh, they're changing a lot about her, but like, who cares about 3-star Akali, right? Ashe base damage is going to be increased by 3. Ashe spell damage is going to be buffed up as well. Like, yeah, Ashe definitely needs buff. She was by far the worst unit. You can tell because you go to teamfight.lol, go to stats, champions, and then you see right here, you can scroll down a bunch, and yeah, Ashe is a 4-cost unit, but she's averaging a 5.15. Holy cow. Keep in mind, this includes all the 7 Crystal Gambit cash outs, so she's probably worse than that alone, right? She's probably like maybe a 5.5. So that as a 4-cost unit is embarrassing because like we see 1-cost units down here. 1-cost units should be the worst. There's also a bug fix when equipped with Bullet Hell does the intended amount of damage instead of doubling her spell damage. Okay, but yeah, with Ashe, I don't know why they reworked her because I thought she was perfectly fine in the way she was before. Like, adjust the numbers, but like, was a rework really necessary? I don't know. Let me know in the comments though. Rise, spell damage, mentor, and base. This one's gonna be buffed up a little bit. Okay, yeah, nice, very good. I had Rise in the B tier, so that makes sense. Bump him up to A. I think in perfect balance, like everything should be around like an A-, right? 5-cost units, Lee Sin resist, buffed up a bit. Lee Sin, Executioner, minicast stun reduced, but minicast primary damage is going to be buffed. And then large cast stun increased. So how does that, we need that in English, right? Right now, Lee Sin is more of a drop to round your comp. I mean, that's what most legendaries are, right? Less of a roundhouse kick to drop your opponents out. Okay, yeah, I guess that's true. We're making some large changes across his weakest forms that should lead to some exciting Lee Sin moments. Okay, so they're just making him be a little more hyphy, you know, more damage. The Juggernaut version, single target AoE, more damage. 2-hex AoE, less damage. So I guess more carry potential, less supporting from that. Seraphine base damage is going to have a bit of a buff, and then Twisted Fate spell damage, bit of a buff as well. Yone attack speed buff, Zyra buff, and backblind plant buff. Okay, so a lot of buffs to legendaries. Is Fast 9 gonna be a thing again? So currently Zyra is used for her attack speed buff, which is true, and they tried to fix that in the last patch, but people are still using her as like that support unit. But they want the backline Zyra builds to be done. I'm all for that. I think Zyra backline would be really cool to check out, but maybe this brings Fast 9 into the game like much better. I think I had it in B tier as well. Augment's 9,000 volt spell damage is going to be decreased. Give them the chair, decreased by a lot. Twilight assault damage, decrease. Aura farming no longer grants a completed item. I don't know why they didn't just make aura farming stage 4-5 instead of stage 4-3. Doesn't really make sense to me. I think they skipped from 4-6 to 4-3, but they could have just done 4-5. Like, I don't know why they didn't. But now to nerf it, they're going to get rid of an item, sure. Backup Dancers no longer appears on 2-1. Big Friend 1 durability, 7-9. Big Friend 2 durability, 10-12. Like, on the aura farming thing, like, I just don't know. Like, are they trying not to backtrack because, like, a lot of people were saying to go from 4-6 to 4-5, and then they don't want to go from 4-3 to 4-5 now because everyone told them to do it? Is that what's going on? Like, I don't know. Like, or were they thinking of this from the beginning and they're like, oh, maybe we could, I don't know. Seems a bit weird to me. Obviously, it does need a nerf. I'm not denying that, but, like, What's wrong with doing the middle option? Like, I never understood that. Blood Rage no longer appears on 2-1. Blood Rage damage amp is going to be a little bit more mild. Instead of 5 to 35, it's 12 to 30. Care package effect now matches the tooltip, grants 3 rewards total. This used to be infinite scaling. I believe they changed that in the last patch, but something was inconsistent in the most recent patch, so they're fixing that. And then the darkness within minion health per stage being nerfed a little bit. Diversified portfolio remove. I don't really like this one, but some people do. I'm glad it's removed though. Golden Quest Lee Sin artifact is going to be changed to Death's Defiance. Zyra is going to get Spear of Shojin and Flicker Blade. Wait, why Flicker Blade? Oh, because they want attack speed plan. Okay. Seraphine, Jeweled Gauntlet and Flicker Blade. Gwen, Dawncore to Zonia's Paradox. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Why wasn't it Zonia's Paradox to begin with? Would it have been too OP? It feels like that's like a tailor-made item for her. Keeper's 1 shield strength is going to be nerfed a bit. Same with Keeper's 2, so Duelist getting hit there. I think they're thinking the Ashe is going to be a little bit too strong, so they're kind of nerfing Keepers to keep that in check. Know Your Enemy, max damage amp buffed up a bit. I'll Be the Head is going to be reintroduced. The Mighty Mech gains 20% attack speed, gain a Gangplank, Field 7 Mighty Mech, and a total of 14 star levels, and reach level 10 to activate Mech Emerge. This is only going to be a 2-1 augment, so you don't need to keep taking the mech augments as the game goes on. Now it's just like, does it from this one augment. I'll Be the Head Prismatic, reintroduced. The Mighty Mech gains 35% attack speed, gain a Senna, Lucian, and Aatrox, and then the same thing as before to get the Prismatic. Very cool. Lit Fuse no longer appears on 2-1. Max Cap removed? Really? Wait, why is Max Cap removed? Do they talk about that here? No, not really. Wait, what's wrong with Max Cap? I love that for a reroll, but whatever the case. Protagonist, additional champion every turn effect begins after 3 turns instead of immediately. Wow. You know, they said in the very beginning of the set that Protagonist would only be good for, like, noob players and, like, it wouldn't be good at high levels. But then it was, like, the most OP thing ever, and they nerfed it, like, a bunch of times now. Before, it gave a lot more stuff, and I think this is the second nerf to it. I mean, to be fair, I thought the same thing, too. I thought this was going to be one of those ones where it's like, oh, you take it because it's fun to take, not because it's good, and it maybe averages like a 4.6 or something like that. But no, like, Protagonist has been so good, and I take it a lot also. Pumping up 2 base attack speed, going to be buffed up a bit. Same with pumping up 3. Tiny Team bonus going to be nerfed by 150 to 100%. And then unlimited power, completed items, Rabadon's Death Cap Morello is going to be changed to Nashor's and Jeweled Gauntlet. This is to get rid of the similarities between this and needlessly large rod like spam. I forget, rod overload or something like that, where you get 5 rods and they also give attack speed. So if you think about it, the rod overload, you get 5 item components and you get bonus attack speed for each rod, right? But this one, it gives 4 components, so it's just strictly worse, right? If you need AP items, I guess if you really need Morello, but if you have so many rods, like, you could build a Morello pretty easily, right? And maybe you already have Morello, so then you can't take this even if you want AP items. Like, I don't know. But I am glad that they are changing it to Nashor's and Jeweled Gauntlet, though Jeweled Gauntlet is an item that's built very often, so I don't know how that's going to work out, because normally that's one of the first items people slam when they do go AP. But I guess this item's not for those people. This augment is for those people who built a lot of tank items because they're kind of flexing in the early game, and then they get like an early Yuumi drop, maybe an early Karma drop, and they're like, oh, I want to go AP now. Let me get some AP items. But they built all tank items because that's what they got in the beginning of the game. Then you see this, you take it, you're like, all right, cool, I got Nashor's and Jeweled Gauntlet. I guess that makes sense. Items and Radiant items, Spark is going to be buffed, both in terms of health and MR. Shock damage is going to be reduced to compensate. Yeah, this item compared to Even Shroud, like, Even Shroud gives such better tank stats, because it is a tank item at the end of the day. It just also has a secondary effect of having utility, but Ionic Spark, definitely garbage compared to that. Bloodthirster, AD is going to be increased, AP increase as well. Radiant, same thing. Radiant Edgenite, this one's going to be buffed up. Ionic Spark getting the same changes as the other one. And then Nashor's Tooth Radiant, the attack speed's going to be changed from 20% to 10%. I mean, if you ever got that on Akali, it goes nuts, right? But, like, it's such a rare combo. But, I mean, yeah, sure. Definitely get rid of it, right? Artifacts, Dawncore, well, not get rid of it, like nerf it. Dawncore is going to be dropped a bit for both AD and AP. Was it that OP? You know how I check for this? I go to teamfight.lol, go to items, and then you could sort by artifact items on the right-hand side here. You could also fix the rank to whatever you want it to be. Okay, yeah, Donkor was good. I mean, I knew it was good. I didn't know it was that good. I always thought like stuff like Mana Zane's better, but it depends on the meta, right? But you definitely did click Donkor a lot because people were playing Akali. Also, Kog'Maw's really good with it. Katarina also uses it, but no one's playing Katarina right now. That's why I thought it would be a bit lower. But what's interesting is that Mana Zane has been like one of the top performing artifacts for like, what, 6 sets in a row, or like since it's been released. So I wonder when it's going to get nerfed a little bit. I mean, they have nerfed it in the past, but for some reason it always stays up there. I don't know why. Turns out casting is good in a game where you need to cast. Blighting Jewel AP is going to be increased a little bit. Mana gain going to be reduced. Luden's Tempest removed. Fishbones. More AD and attack speed, but no longer doubles the range. I feel like this is going to be pretty bad now, because that was like the main benefit of it, right? Doubling the range. Mitten's attack speed is going to be buffed up a little bit, and then Talisman gonna get a 100 HP buff. The problem with Talisman, I've said this in the past, they probably do need to remove this, but it only works on one champion. So if they're using the logic of removing Ludens that it only works on one champion, well, Talisman also only works on one champion. Like, pretty much only Mundo can use it, and Mundo's not even meta anymore because Talisman is not that great in the late game, so you kind of need like a lower cost unit to use it and then maybe cap out with a reroll comp, because in the late game fights just don't last that long, so it's really hard to get value out of this after like stage 5. But yeah, not many people use this. I think Mundo's truly the only one that can use it, but that was a long time ago because that was back when Luchador had the respawn advantage, not respawn but the de-aggro thing, and Juggernauts were OP at the start of the set. Power-ups. More power-up follow-up work to make your options more competitive. Adaptive skin, armor, and MR are going to be increased. All-out attack buffs. I really want all-out attack to be back. That was one of my favorite comps, the Akali Cassante comp. Best defense going to be nerfed a bit. That was way too good on Poppy. Blink attack, buffed. Double strike, buff. Finalist, that should be good for Kayle. Finalist initial damage going to be buffed. You need to compare Finalists with the other damage amp thing that we saw in the new power-ups. So you either wait for people to die in game or you wait for people to die in fight. That's kind of the comparison between the two, right? But obviously, like, different champions use different power-ups. Gathering Force, attack damage gain, 45% of mana to 40%. Max Vitality, HP per 10 is going to be bumped up a bunch. Not done yet. Going to have deaths reduced by a lot. Holy cow. That's going to be really good for all the like melee carry reroll comps, because reaching 8 is very difficult. There are a lot of games where I get this offered to me in stage 3, but I don't have enough life to die 8 times. So 6 is a huge difference. I think this is going to be one of the best ones for like the scaling reroll power-ups. Over 9,000 going to be nerfed a little bit. Shine Brighter, bonus damage, going to be up 10%. Sky Piercer, damage amp reduce. Star Sailor, increase. Star Sailor weight decrease. Requirement is going to be 4 Star Guardians, makes sense. Yeah, if you ever get it in 2, you're like, come on, man, I was just using it as a splash trait. Star Student, weight 20 to 10. Requirements changed to 3 to 5. Tiny Terror threshold 50 to 70. Trickster removed. Was really good. People took this way too often, and I mean, it was pretty terrorizing in my opinion. Unflinching, Omnivamp, 15 to 25. Veteran Mentor stats is going to be nerfed a little bit. Veteran moved to primary on all available champions. And then weights, attack speed going to be nerfed a little bit. Small changes like the steps along the road of life, very true. Janna is going to get Sky Piercer and Solar Breath removed, so utility is going to be removed from her. Jinx added Fury Break, Corner Carry, and Super Mega, removing Double Strike, Attack Expert, and Power Front. Malzahar removing Sky Piercer and Solar Breath, same with Senna, same with Twist of Fate, and that's all because they're getting the other one. What was it called? It was the one that both shreds, sunders, and gives anti-heal from the new power-ups. And then Shen added primary for Twilight Assault, Corner Carry, Fury Break, and Stormbender. And now for items, Thieves' Gloves can now roll higher tier combinations based on the player's level instead of solely rolling off of game stage. And then bug fixes. Augment filtering no longer filters on 2-1. Apparently that was a thing, because normally you can't tailor augments on 2-1. It's pure random. It always has been, but for some reason last patch it's came back. I don't know why or how, but it did. During planning phase, Best Friends now displays a visual effect on units that meet its requirements. Some instances where Rammus's SFX wouldn't always be removed. Crystal Gambit 210 reward can no longer very rarely grant no reward or Cursed Vampiric Scepter. That was really weird, right? This item doesn't exist in the set right now, so it somehow magically came from a 210 reward. And then Bramble Vest 8 damage reduction against attacks no longer applies before enemy bonus true damage is calculated. This affects pre-mitigation true damage from sources like Soul Fighter trait. Okay, so let's go back up to the top in the summary. What are the biggest changes? So Akali pretty much didn't really change at all. I think Yasuo is going to be really good, especially with the Wind Wall power-up. I think that's going to be pretty solid. So if there ever is a 4-mentor Yasuo comp, because they are also buffing Veteran, you could do like a 2-cost and 3-cost reroll build, or maybe just purely 3-cost, and probably get something pretty good there. I'm excited to play around with the Mech Prismatic because that should be pretty fun. The new power-ups, they should be cool. I want to play the one where it's 2x, where you get the new comp, because like Echo, Vi, Jinx, like people like that, like all the characters in 2x, I think like Darius and Braum or something. But that new comp should be fun to try out. I wonder what traits they share. I'll be coming out with a build for that on the tier list, bunnymuffins.lol/meta on Thursday, maybe even Wednesday if I'm feeling up for it. And then I'm interested in seeing the Monster Trainer units because they did get buffed. So maybe we can re-roll them, but they changed the unit sizing a little bit. So I guess if no one's going for any of the Lulu units, it gets a lot better because it's easier to hit the 3-star because there are more copies in the pool. But it might encourage someone else to contest you because they're like, oh, it is contestable now. So it's going to be weird how that kind of works out. Gangplank, I'm hoping he's back, but I don't know if he is. He's been buffed up a lot. Like, one of these buffs is going to put him back in place, right? Ashe, hopefully Duelist is back. Again, I don't know why they reworked her a couple of patches ago. I heavily disagreed with that, but it is what it is. But yeah, decently excited for the patch. Not incredibly excited, but decently excited. Because normally they don't make this many changes this late into a set. So it's a good sign because it means that they care about their game, right? I mean, they should, right? Like, everyone cares about the game. You're watching this video because you care. I'm making this video because I care. They're making the changes because they care. So everyone cares. I think it's important to remember that we all want to play a good game, right? That's kind of why we play video games. Well, at least that's why we should. But anyways, for all data checking needs, head on over to teamfight.lol. It's great because it gets stats as games are played right as the patch comes out. It's Tuesday right now, so it comes out on Wednesday, your local time. And then I'll be updating bunnymuffins.lol like whenever, probably like Wednesday or Thursday. So definitely look out for that. But that's going to be it for me today. Hopefully you all enjoyed that, and I'll see you all next time.